Hi, students. This recording is for students who couldn't make it to the seminar in week 8 about using databases for their research. So today we're going to be going over how to use databases for your research and where you can find the best databases for you. We're going to start off by going to the North Media website. So I have it bookmarked here. If you don't have it bookmarked, what you can do is go to waukeshanorth.org. And over here on the side where it says North Media Center, you can click right on that. Now, from here, you're going to want to click on Digital Resources and Databases over here on the side. Now, once you get in here, you're going to see a few different things. First of all, I want to point out BadgerLink. This is the one that you're going to be using the most, or SIRS. Those are both really good ways to go through searching. You'll get tons of resources, lots of different databases to choose from. Teen Health and Wellness might be a good one depending on what you're doing, especially if you're a little bit behind on that AODA project. It'd be something to look back on for that, or for future issues as well. I also want to point out EasyBib. Anytime you have to do any kind of a citation page, so a works cited or bibliography, this is a great resource that you can use to put in your information. However, if you are using BadgerLink or SIRS exclusively, those websites or those databases both have ways to cite right on there, so it's just a matter of copying and pasting. Let's go through BadgerLink to start with. All right, so when you get to BadgerLink, you're going to see a rather poor-looking Bucky Badger there, probably not trademarked correctly, and a few different options here. There's Find, Learn, IMA, and Info. It's all going to take you basically to the same spot. So I'm just going to click on, let's see, All Resources under Find. So the first thing you have to do is decide which resources to search through. And you can do that by narrowing any of these fields. Let's start with Find. This is if you want to look for a specific medium. So let's say you just want to look at magazines or only scholarly journals or only primary sources. This is a great place to search for those sorts of things. Let's say that I'm looking for newspapers. I'm looking into newspaper articles. Let's see, I want to learn about, maybe I'm looking up a health issue. I'm going to say, let's pretend that I'm a high school student, so I'll put that in. And then I can look under the different vendors. You don't really need to, but if you do decide to narrow this down, I recommend either going with EBSCO or BadgerLink. All right, so click off of that and hit apply. Oh, and it says try again with fewer filters. So that's kind of a bummer. So now I need to be a little bit less specific. So maybe I say any for that. Let's say if that brings up anything. Oh, no results again. Let's go back up here and change what I'm looking for. Let's do science and technology. And we'll, oh geez, nothing on that again. Maybe I'm looking a little bit too specific here. I want to go with any, and we'll leave it on science and technology. Now, if I do that, you'll see it brings up like Britannica School Elementary or Britannica School Middle. I can refine my search for high school. The reason you want to do this is you don't want to be searching in something that says elementary school or middle school because number one, it's going to give you articles that are written at levels that are way lower than what you should be reading, but also it's going to really simplify the information that you may be looking for. So Britannica School High is a pretty good one to look through. There's Wisconsin Media Lab, so if you're looking specifically for images, that's a great place to look for or look through. Explora is another good one that I'm a big fan of. So a few different things we could look for here. Now, let's say I want to go and do Britannica School. So I click on that. Lots of different options here for going through and searching, but I'm going to just go ahead and start up here. Let's say I want to learn about the coral reef, since that seems to be a highlighted article. Let's just pretend like that's what I'm looking for. So coral reef, I looked that up and I've got tons of different information, bits of information here. So let's see, I lived on the Great Barrier Reef for a little while, so let's check that out. So this gives me some great information that's kind of general. It's not like it's published in a magazine or anything like that, but this is great information. So if this is something I would want to use, I could go up here to the corner and I could hit email. If I do that, I put in the email where it says to, and I would put in my email. Let's say I just want it for future reference. I'm going to put in AK McLean at waukesha.edu. k12.wi.us, and from I'll just put my own name, and I will put in the exact same email that I had listed up above. Alright, so I'd hit submit, and bam, the email goes off. It says right here, you have successfully emailed this article. Another thing I want to show you is how to cite it. So if you need to do a works cited page for something, you click on this cite, and then you select your citation style. For the most part, you're going to be looking at using APA citation style. English teachers will have you do MLA, but APA is what you use for pretty much everything else. So if I do that, I clicked on APA, it changed it right here, and then I would just copy and paste that into my works cited page. Easy as that. Another thing I want to show you is that you can change the reading level. So let's say this is a little bit difficult for you. If you want to bring it down to a little bit easier level, you can do that by hitting 2 or even by hitting 1. Now, one thing that I want to caution you on when you are changing the reading level, it also abbreviates the article quite a bit. So you'll see this article is now only 2 paragraphs long. Well, if I go to 2, we've got a few more paragraphs, looks like 5, and this gives us a lot more information, and we have more graphics as well, along with some videos. So, like I said, I just want to caution you on really changing that reading level down. Okay, over here you have some images and videos you can look at, and a lot of those are already usually in the side or at the bottom of the article that we saw. If you click on related, it's going to bring up some other results, some things that might be helpful for you. So this is if you're using Britannica School. This is kind of like an encyclopedia. It's not going to have much that's very opinionated, which is good in some cases, but in some cases not so good. So I'm going to close out of that, and let's see if I can find something else. Let's go to, let's just say anything, and I'm a high school student. And if I hit apply there, I've got some great Badger Link things. There's research stuff. I want to go through, and I'm going to look for EBSCO though. EBSCO multimedia search will give us a lot of really good stuff. So will Explora. So I'm going to go through and do Explora. And as it brings it up, you can put in a keyword here. So let's say I want to look at coral reef. And when you do that, you'll see that the predicted searches, it gives you a lot more information. Maybe I want to look at the bleaching of the coral reef. So I'm going to click on that, and let's see. I always limit my work to full text only, just because that gives me the whole article that I can read. Otherwise, it's just going to give you an abstract, and that's kind of annoying. Another thing I want to say for limiting your results, because as you can see here we have 847, is that you can also look by publication date. Depending on what your project is, it's not always good to have something that's kind of old, but sometimes doing that is something that you definitely want to have, because if you're looking at something that happened like around the stock market crash, having some primary sources from that time might be important. So you really want to look at what you're researching to determine how recent your work should be that you're looking at. Let's say I'm looking and talking about something recent. So maybe I want to move my publication date over here to 2002 to 2015. So I did that right over here with this sliding scale. All right, so as I look through, you'll see they have different things here. It says PDF full text. If I look at that, I click on it, it's going to bring up the actual article as it was first published. So this is a little bit intense looking. Oh, Townsville, Queensland. I lived there. That's so fun. Okay, so if I look through this, you can see I've got a nice introduction. It gives me good charts. So this is a great resource. We have nice information here. It gives you maps and things like that. This is just one thing that you can find with PDFs. And you can do the same thing as I showed you before, where you can email it to yourself. That's over here on the left-hand side. So I would put in my email, akmclean@waukesha.k12.wi.us, subject, and I'll write in coral reefs. Now, what I like about Explora and EBSCO is that you can put in a comment. You can say like a little extra thing like, remember to look on page 4. So if I'm doing my research, I look at it and I'm like, oh, that looks really good. I can click on that quick. Over here, You don't really need to worry about changing anything, but I do want to show this to you. I could click citation format, and I can change it to what I want. APA is, again, what you should generally be using. So I'll click on that, which is nice. And then when it gets emailed to me, here I'll show you how it comes up in a person's email. Let's see here, refresh here. Oh, it's not coming up yet. We'll hit refresh again as soon as we can. All right, here we go. So it comes from EBSCOhost. So I have my comment right here at the top, and then it has the PDF right there that I can click on if I want to. But what's also really nice is it says references. So when I need to go through and make my citation page, I've got that to just copy and paste, and it's all done for me, which is wonderful. I should note here, in case you are accessing this from home, this can be a little bit tricky. The thing with databases is that you have to be accessing it through a library. So if you're at school, not going to be a big deal. It'll recognize the IP address, and there will be no issue. But if you are accessing it at home, you'll either need a library card, like a public library card, or you'll need the password from the library, which I personally don't have. You'll have to ask Mrs. Miller in the library. So back to this article, obviously you can print it here. You can also put it into a folder, which is a neat little thing to save it for later. You have to sign in to access it again, but that's all right. And then you can also cite it or get a link to it. So that's kind of a fun little thing to show you. You can head back to this. If you want to do some more narrowing, maybe you only want to look at magazines. And that's something that's easy enough to do. If you do that, it's going to help you out finding the different types of resources that you really want. Finally, you can also be looking at the Lexile range. The lower the Lexile, the easier it is to read. Again, I'm going to caution you on that because if you go to something that's really, really low, let's say we go down to the 700 to 900, which isn't super low, but if I go to that, it's going to be a little bit easier to read, which is nice, but sometimes it might be a little bit more simplified than you want. So remember to think of that. So another thing I want to show you, let's look at this one. So you can see it's got the full PDF text, which is awesome. It gives us some nice pictures and things. And it's only one page, which is kind of a bummer. Remember, again, the shorter or the lower the Lexile, the less you're generally going to get, which is sad, like I said. But if I go back, I want to show you the HTML full text. This is kind of a fun little feature in Explora and some of the other databases that you may search. You can actually go through and you can read the article, so it has it like copied and pasted down here, but you can listen to it. You can also listen to it in a different accent if you want. You can listen to Australian or British. But if I do that, I just hit play, and it'll show me down below.
Coral reefs are in trouble. Luckily, scientists are trying to find out why. Sometimes, a combination of ocean conditions causes corals to...
Okay, so you get the idea. It'll read it to you down here, which is nice on those nights when you're up studying late and you just want to get through the article without having to read and stare at a screen too long. So, nice option for you there. All right, so that's all I've got to show you with your assignment for this. I do want you to email me one article that it connects somehow to your identity unit. It's not got to be an article that you're actually going to use, but I want you to show me that you understand how to use that function. So as soon as you find something that does pertain to whatever you're going to research for your identity unit, go ahead and click email right there. Put in the email akmclean@waukesha.k12.wi.us. Again, then you put in your subject, and for your subject you can just say my research database article, and then if you want to give me a little comment like hope you're having a great day, I would absolutely love that, but it's definitely not required. Don't forget to hit send, and remember, if you have any questions, you should always come and talk to me, and if you can't catch me in Inspire or at a conference, go ahead and just shoot me an email. Hope you all have a wonderful week.